So it looked like DiJonai Carrington just got booted from the Dallas Wings.
DiJonai, your game was stinking in the mud, and the Dallas Wings wanted nothing to do with you.
What do you call a player so problematic that even the referees need security backup? DiJonai Carrington. The Dallas Wings have officially parted ways with their most controversial player, and honestly, it was long overdue. This is the same player who poked Caitlin Clark in the eye during the playoffs, injured her own teammate Paige Bueckers while attempting to hurt Jessica Shepard, and caused such a disturbance during a game against the Chicago Sky that officials literally had to call for security. Carrington has racked up 4 flagrant fouls this season alone, which tells you everything you need to know about why Dallas couldn't wait to get her off the roster. If you want Carrington out of the league for good, then comment, "Fire Carrington." Let's go now. Let's be clear. Jane wasn't the only Carrington keeping the drama alive. DJ Kurt couldn't keep her hands clean either and was constantly making headlines online for the wrong reasons. Whether it was swinging at players or delivering high hits, she always found herself at the center of controversy. And we can't forget the near-catastrophic injury to Paige Bueckers, which somehow has already faded from people's memory. But we need to remember everything that happened this season because the league and the Dallas Wings clearly did. They made it their mission to get rid of her. Before we break down how Carrington got booted from Dallas, let's first unpack why the team made that decision in the first place. What separates a tough defender from a dangerous player? Intent. And DiJonai Carrington's highlight reel reads more like a medical report than a basketball resume. Let's begin with the moment that put her on everyone's radar, the infamous Caitlin Clark eye poke during the 2024 playoffs, which left Clark with a black eye in the basketball world in disbelief. DiJonai Carrington, yet again, involved in a dirty play. DiJonai always. DiJonai, let's paint the scene from the Connecticut Sun versus Indiana Fever first-round playoff game. Clark was going up for one of her signature shots. Carrington came in to defend. What happened next wasn't a typical defensive effort, it was targeted, direct contact to the eye. Clark's head jerked back from the impact, and she immediately grabbed her face in pain. The rookie phenom who had carried the Fever all season now had a visible black eye, and it became the biggest storyline of the playoffs. As everyone began reviewing the footage, fans demanded answers, and lack of accountability made things worse. While Clark dealt with the physical aftermath, Carrington showed zero remorse, no apology, no recognition that she may have gone too far. Instead, she doubled down on her style of play, almost wearing it like a badge of honor. In an interview afterward, Carrington was asked if she intended to hit Clark in the eye. Her response was dismissive. "I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know. I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through, and I hit her. So obviously, it's never intentional. That's not even the type of player that I am." Fast forward to June 4th against the Seattle Storm, and the exact same pattern repeats. Skylar Diggins drives hard on a fast break, going for a transition bucket. Carrington closes in to defend, but makes contact with Diggins' head while supposedly trying to block the shot. The referees had seen enough this time. It was called a flagrant 1 foul. It was clear that Carrington was no longer playing basketball. She was targeting. Multiple angles showed how aggressive the foul was. Diggins, who's known for her speed and toughness, gets down the court, draws contact, and collapses to the floor. Fans and analysts immediately recognized a trend. This wasn't just 1 or 2 isolated plays. It was a pattern. Repeated reckless contact, usually to the face or head, and always involving high-profile players. One fan summed it up best, saying, "That is not physicality. That's a trash play from a dirty player who doesn't belong on the court." At first glance, some might think the Diggins foul didn't look too bad. But once you view it from multiple angles, it becomes crystal clear this was not a basketball play. The slow motion reveals the full impact, and Carrington's body movement shows she had no intention of making a clean stop. Even the officials signaled right away that the foul would be upgraded. "DJ, did you forget what sport you're playing? You do know this is basketball, right?" It became obvious that each of these incidents was escalating, each one worse than the last, and each met with greater public backlash. The Clark incident became a blueprint for how to understand Carrington's behavior: aggressive, reckless, and consistently targeting opposing stars. It didn't matter whether it was seasoned vets like Diggins or rising icons like Clark. Carrington attacked without hesitation. The face, the head, the most vulnerable areas. That was her aim, and the Dallas Wings were left to deal with the fallout. Let's not forget the most damning example of Carrington's recklessness: the May 21st game against the Minnesota Lynx. This was the moment when Carrington, trying to hurt an opponent, ended up injuring her own teammate. That game highlighted exactly how out of control her style of play had become. In this play, Jessica Shepard goes up for a routine shot. Carrington barrels in, full force, and instead of executing a clean block, goes straight for Shepard's face. Another flagrant foul. The contact was blatant and dangerous. She came around Shepard's body and followed through in a way that struck Shepard directly in the face. The announcers noted the sequence too. It's the hit on the ball. Then, the pullback. That's the part that stands out. And while trying to attack Shepard, Carrington managed to get Paige Bueckers, her own teammate, caught in the chaos. That's right, her own teammate got hurt in the aftermath of a dirty play, meant for someone else. Bueckers, trying to stabilize Shepard's fall, found herself at risk of injury simply for being on the floor next to Carrington. That's how reckless things had become. Her out-of-control body movements didn't just harm opponents, they put everyone on the court in danger. It's hard to overstate how serious this was. When you start putting your own teammates in jeopardy, it's no longer about playing hard. It's about being a threat. And you could see the frustration on the faces of the Dallas Wings players. They were tired of watching Carrington create chaos. They might be the next accidental victim. When your own teammates are afraid of playing alongside you, something is seriously wrong. To be blunt, you don't get to bulldoze someone's back. Almost injure your own teammate and then brush it off with a smug laugh. Carrington tried to turn the aftermath into a joke, striking a Keke Palmer fan meme expression, seemingly oblivious to what she'd done. As one commentator put it, "You're not Draymond. You're not even that. You're Pat Bev. That's it. You're Pat Bev, and not in a good way." This wasn't just a dangerous play for Jessica Shepard. It was even more dangerous for Paige Bueckers, who had to absorb the impact of Shepard's fall. Paige could have blown out her knee. That's what should have been the conversation. But Carrington just wanted a viral moment, a clip for the timeline. And as soon as the foul happened, she made it about herself with that fake reaction. When you're endangering your own players while trying to hurt others, you've crossed a line that no professional team can afford to ignore. This wasn't about intensity or toughness anymore. This was about a player whose presence had become toxic to every part of the game. Her style of play was no longer basketball, it was chaos. Even the officials started handling her differently. They knew they were dealing with someone who could not control her actions. When was the last time you saw a referee call security on a player during a live game? That's what happened with DiJonai Carrington. The incident against the Chicago Sky represented the peak of her on-court mayhem. The referees didn't just call a foul, they called for backup. And that, right there, tells you everything you need to know. DiJonai Carrington wasn't just a problem for opponents. She was a danger to the game itself,